What is up, you guys? For today's video, I'm going to share with you guys how to get this look right here using the Colourpop Smoke Show palette. I mean, like, look at the packaging of this palette, though. Like, can we just take a moment to appreciate how cute it is? And if you haven't seen the inside of it, girl, it is stunning. Especially if you're like me and you love those, like, smoky eyeshadow palettes, you're going to really enjoy this one. I mean, like, look at all those grays in there and these, like, deeper blacks. They are just so beautiful. And anyways, if you'd like to see how I did this look that I'm wearing right now, then just stay tuned on watching. However, before we jump into this video, I would really appreciate if you hit the subscribe button down below and give this video a like. And also, if you'd like to check me out on Instagram, my Instagram account is @lethal_kitten. And on Instagram, I post 7 days a week with a ton of tutorials over on there if you are looking for some inspiration. Now listen, before we jump into using the eyeshadow palette today, I do want to prime my eyelids first, and we are going to be using none other than the Anastasia Beverly Hills Eye Primer. Seriously, I don't think I could live without this at this point. Like, I just think it makes, like, such a difference every time that I use it. And I'm just going to take this Luxie 209 shading brush and apply it. Like, seriously, when I say that this makes a difference, like, it really honestly does. I've had palettes where I'm like, girl, this stuff is so dusty, I can't get it to work out. And then I use this eyeshadow primer and it makes it so the shadows stick a lot better, makes it easier to blend on top. I just think it's truly amazing. If you haven't tried it, I do highly recommend it. Seriously, words cannot express how excited I am to use this palette today. Like, the goth girl in me just cannot get over that Colourpop did this type of color story. I mean, like, look at her. She's so pretty. I just love all the colors in here, especially this one right here. Ooh, it hits different. Like, this kind of color story just gets me right in the feels because these used to be the colors that I wore every single day for a really long time. And I don't know what it is. It makes me really excited and I just cannot wait to try it out. So the first shade that we are going to be going in with is one that I just am so excited to try out, and that one is called Ignite. It's kind of like a gray, but it has like a really slight hint of purple to it. It's a very unique gray in my opinion. And then using this Moda Brushes double-sided brush, I'm going to be applying this into my crease and then doing little circular motions to blend that upwards towards my brow. I'm also using it to round out my outer V. And make sure when you're doing this, if you are following my tutorial, to bring it like extra out there because we are going to be going super smoky with this look. So after playing around with this shadow and really like building up the color, I can say that it is a little inconsistent with its blending. I'll get up close so you guys can see it, but in certain spots you can kind of see a little bit of a harsh line. It's a little patchy in certain spots too. It just kind of looks a little inconsistent. I wouldn't say it's like a bad shadow, but if you do decide to use it, take in mind you might have to take a little bit more time blending it out. Though I will say this shadow is insanely pigmented. You barely need anything on your brush and it is like looking like this. It's actually really nuts. I want to see if I can kind of fix up the edges right here with the blending, and what I'm going to do is go back in with the palette and go in with the matte white called Young Love. So I'm just going to take a little bit of Young Love and do little circular motions over the kind of like edge that we have of the eyeshadow to try to buff it out and get it a little bit more blended into our skin tone. You can also do this technique though with a skin tone colored eyeshadow. I'm just going to use the white though because it is in the palette. But it's one of those techniques I really like to use when I'm having problems blending out my eyeshadow and getting my edges really nice. And then once you've buffed out the edges, I'm just going to go back in with my blending brush that I have the color on and just lightly do these little circular motions to blend it back upwards. You may have to do this a couple of times, but usually for me it only takes about 2 times, and you'll get a really nice blend when you do it. Originally, when I was planning out this look, I was going to go in with Slated next, this beautiful like grayish shade, but I don't know, Ignite just looks so beautiful. It has like this purpley undertone to it and I don't want to ruin it. So let's do it, and we are going to be going in with the matte black next. So using this Moda Brushes crease brush, I'm going to be applying this directly into my crease as well as into my outer V, doing little circular motions to blend that into Ignite. So from just initial kind of like a first impressions, this black isn't like a sugar pill bulletproof. It's not like super crazy black. It does have a little bit of gray to it, which is actually really nice for this type of palette in my opinion. Man, this look though is giving me such a throwback to my high school days when I wore like the goth clothes. I had like the Demonia boots with all like the buckles on it. I used to wear them all the time. And I'm just sitting here trying to figure out like what kind of vibe I want to go with today, because like part of me wants to just do like a black smoky eye. And then the other part of me is like, no, let's do a cut crease and then do like a lower lash line detail because I have been obsessed with that on Instagram lately. I think we're going to do that today though because I haven't done it here on YouTube yet. So what I'm going to do is cut my crease like normal using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Eye Primer, and then I'll be right back. So once you cut your crease and the base is 100% dry, and if you're like me, you had pizza in between, but the next shade that we are going to be going in with is the most beautiful black shimmer shade called Night Dream. And then using this flat shader brush from Real Techniques, I'm just applying this wet to the outer third of my lid. I gotta say, I was actually expecting it to be like super sparkly when it was applied, but it just kind of isn't. Like it has like a little bit of a sheen, but it's really not that noticeable. I don't know why, but I was expecting it to be like more of like a metallic black. It's still really beautiful though, and the formula is really nice. So once you have that done, the next shade that we are going to be going in with is probably the star of the show of this palette, and that one is called Starstruck. Then using a dampened ABH A2 brush, holy shit, that is so pigmented. Oh my gosh, like that is literally liquid metal. Like, tell me that doesn't look like liquid silver, because oh my gosh. I seriously cannot get over how beautiful that is. Like seriously, that was just like one like tap practically. Like dang, that's gorgeous. Colourpop, if you could like make all your foil shadows like this, oh my gosh, I would literally die. Now you could leave this where it is right now, like with the silver blended in with the black, but honestly, I feel like it's just a little too harsh for the look that I'm going for. So what I'm going to do is go into this purpley grayish kind of like shimmery shade called Full Metal. So using this flat shader brush from Moda, I'm just going to be packing this on right between the silver and the black shimmer shade that we have, just to get a really nice transition between the two. I mean, you wouldn't have to do this, but for me personally, I felt like it's just a little too harsh between the silver and the black. So this will help give us a little bit better of a gradient fade. The more that I look at this, I feel like this look would be perfect for New Year's. You know, it's kind of like sultry and it's kind of smoky, yet it has like that glam element with the metallic. It is just so beautiful. And honestly, I just cannot get over how gorgeous it is. I love this lid shade. It is so stunning in person. Like my camera is not doing it justice at all. It has like a metallic, like, it almost looks like liquid metal in a way. It's really beautiful. But with that though, off camera, I'm just gonna kind of clean things up a little bit, as well as apply some liner and some lashes, as well as my complexion products, and then I'll be right back. So here's where I'm at right now with the look after applying my complexion products as well as some liner and some lashes. And now we are going to be doing the most fun part, which is the extended inner corner. If you've never done this technique before, I highly recommend trying it out. Seriously, it is so much fun and it gives a really opened effect to the eyes, which is super beautiful. And I'm going to show you guys like a little demonstration because honestly, nobody really talks about how to do it. And I want to show you guys how I do it, which I think is pretty easy. So if this is your inner corner, like my two fingers right here, this part between my two fingers, like the inner portion of the V, would be that pink part next to your eyeball. It's like right in here. The V itself is like this fatty tissue. You can feel it with your finger if you touch your inner corner. And then this upper portion would be your upper lid and then your lower lid underneath. So what we are going to be doing is taking an angled brush and we're going to be applying a light gray shadow right underneath this fatty tissue on the bottom. So right in here. You can kind of feel it if you take your finger or like a brush, but we're going to be doing it that way because you'll give a really beautiful effect and you'll also be following your bone structure. Now, if you're trying this technique out at home, you don't have to use the palette that I'm using or the shadow that I'm going to reach for. You can definitely do it with a skin tone colored eyeshadow a couple shades darker than your natural skin tone. It'll be honestly a lot easier to correct if you've never done it before. But since I've done it a couple of times, the shadow that I'm going to be going in with is called Slated. And then using this angled brush, I'm just going to be applying this right underneath that little fatty tissue. And then I'm just going to follow underneath my eye. You don't have to be perfect with this, you just want to give yourself like a little bit of structure. This will help us kind of like blend everything out later. And then once you have the framework done, I'm just going to start deepening it up and also extending the inner corner. So what we did is we brought it right up to here, and I'm just going to extend it just a little bit, and again, I'm just following that fatty tissue. Using this Morphe M507 brush with a little bit of Ignite on it, I'm just going to be running this right along that line that we just made. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're not smoking it down too far, otherwise you're kind of going to look like a raccoon. And you also don't really need to worry about the waterline either, since we are going to be adding white there in a minute. So once you are done with that, now we are going to be doing a white waterline and then extending that into the inner corner. And what I'm going to be using today is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Eye Primer. Honestly, I really like this stuff in my waterline. I've never had an issue with it, and it actually stays really long for me too, which is really nice. You could also use like a cream eyeliner, but for me, I'm just going to be using this today. And this is a step where you have to get like really in the zone for, because you want to make sure you have a steady hand and that you're really concentrating on what you're doing, because otherwise you're going to be like me and you're going to sneeze and you're going to mess the whole thing up. But what I'm going to do is take this Sigma E10 brush, which is a really small little liner brush. You can use something from the craft store too, but I just have this on hand. And what I'm going to be doing is tracing above that line that we made in the inner corner and kind of connecting it upwards. So as you can see, I'm just taking my brush. It's kind of hard to show you guys this. but I'm going right on that fatty tissue. Right on it. Because before when we made the line, we went underneath. So with the cream product, you want to go on top of it. And then I'm just going to be following that now into my waterline. And I'm only going to go about halfway. Now you can leave this right here and call it a day, but for me personally, I want a little bit more drama and I want to just be a little bit more extra with this. So what I'm going to do is take my liquid liner. This one is from Sigma Beauty. It is color Line Ace. And I'm going to draw a line right between the gray and the white and then bring it upwards. I just redid the liquid liner portion with my Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid liner because, girl, that Sigma one was so dried up, I did not realize it. But now we are going to be setting the waterline, the white portion that we did with the Anastasia eye primer, and what we are going to be using is Young Love, the matte white in the palette. So off camera, I'm just going to apply some mascara and a little bit of black eyeliner in the outer third of my waterline, and then I'll be right back. But yeah, so here's the finished look using the Colourpop Smoke Show palette, and I really honestly had so much fun creating this look with you guys today, and I just really enjoyed this palette. I thought it was so much fun. I mean, look at that color story and tell me that is not a unique one. I just don't see all that many palettes launch with gray eyeshadows anymore, and I don't know, I just had a lot of fun with this one, and I cannot wait to use it again. Formula-wise, there was only one shadow that gave me any problems today, and that one was called Ignite. It was the first one that we used. It was just a little bit patchy when I was using it, but at the end of the day, I was able to get it where I wanted it to be. It just took a little bit more time to do so. And I will say, though, too, that other shade that we used, the Shimmery Black, that one, when I applied it, I was expecting it to look a little bit more metallic. However, it was kind of like a matte black with, like, some specks of shimmer in it, so do keep that in mind if you do want to use it. Other than that, the other shadows, like the mattes in here, are so crazy pigmented. They're just buttery and just really silky, and the shimmers in here go on metallic, which is really awesome, especially if you're like me and you love a good metallic finish. So when it comes down to it, would I recommend this palette to you guys? And honestly, if you love the color story of this one, I would highly recommend checking it out. It's very affordable and also a really unique palette to have in a collection, especially if you're into like gray shadows or if you're into really dark smoky eyes. I feel like you're going to get a lot of use out of this one. However, with that said, I don't feel like this palette's going to fit everybody's taste, and if you don't wear a lot of those smoky eyeshadow looks or cool tone looks, you probably won't get a lot of use out of it. But if you're looking for something a little bit more unique and a little bit more interesting to spice up your collection, I would definitely recommend checking it out. But yeah, so in the comments down below, let me know what you think about this look, and also let me know what you think about this palette. Are you going to be picking it up? Do you already have it? I would love to hear what you guys think as well. And as always though, I would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button down below and give this video a like. And also, if you'd like to check me out on Instagram, my Instagram account is @lethal_kitten. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!